Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमती डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणा अरविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की ISKCON फाउंडर आचार्य बीपीटी फाउंडर आचार्य सेवियर ऑफ द होल वर्ल्ड शिल प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर शिल प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपिका श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की मथुरापुरी धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की गंगमैया की यमुना मैया की भक्ति देवी की श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन की श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्र मैया की श्री श्री गौर निताय की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्भागवतम की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4th, Chapter 28. Puranjan becomes a woman in the next life. Text 35th and 36th. Please repeat. Tatra Chandravasa Nama Tamraparni Vatodaka Tat Punya Salilair Nityam Ubhayatratmano Mrujan Kandashtibhir Moola Falai पुष्पपर्णैस्तृणोदकैः वर्तमानः शनैर्गात्रा कर्षणं तप आस्थितः तत्र चन्द्रवसा नाम ताम्रपर्णीवटोदका तत्पुण्यसलिलैर्नित्यम् उभयत्रात्मनो मृजन् कंदाष्टिभिर्मूलफलैः पुष्पपर्णैस्तृणोदकैः वर्तमानः शनैर्गात्र कर्शनं तप आस्थितः तत्र चन्द्रवसा नाम ताम्रपर्णीवटोदका तत्पुण्यसलिलैर्नित्यम् उभयत्रात्मनो मृजन् कन्दाष्टिभिर्मूलफलैः पुष्पपर्णैस्तृणोदकैः वर्तमानः शनैर्गात्र कर्शनं तप आस्थितः तत्र चन्द्रवसा नाम ताम्रपर्णीवटोदका तत्पुण्यसलिलैर्नित्यम् उभयत्रात्मनो मृजन् कन्दाष्टिभिर्मूलफलैः पुष्पपर्णैस्तृणोदकैः वर्तमानः शनैर्गात्र कर्शनं तप आस्थितः तत्र चन्द्रवसा नाम माताजी's तत्र चन्द्रवसा नाम ताम्रपर्णीवटोदका Word to word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Tatra, there, Chandravasa, the Chandravasa river. Nama, named. Tambraparni, the Tambraparni river. Vatodaka, the Vatodaka river. Tat, of those rivers. Punya, pious. Salilaihi, with the waters. Nityam, daily. Ubhayatra, in both ways. Atmanaha, of himself. Mrujan, washing. Kanda, bulbs. Ashtibhihi, and by seeds. Mula, roots. Falaihi, and by fruits. Pushpa, flowers. Parnaihi, and by leaves. Truna, grass. Udakaihi, and by water. Vartamanaha, subsisting. Shanaihi, gradually. Gatra, his body. Karshanam, rendering thin. Tapaha, austerity. Asthitaha, he underwent. Translation. In the province of Kulachala, there were rivers named Chandravasa, Tamraparni, and Vatodaka. King Maladhwaj used to go to those pious rivers regularly and take his bath there. Thus he purified himself externally and internally. He took his bath and ate bulbs, seeds, leaves, flowers, roots, fruits, and grasses, and drank water. In this way he underwent severe austerities. Eventually he became very skinny. Purport. So this is fitness purport, fitness formula. We can definitely see that to advance in Krishna consciousness, one must control his bodily weight. If one becomes too fat, it is to be assumed that he is not advancing spiritually. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur severely criticized his fat disciples. The idea is that one who intends to advance in Krishna consciousness must not eat very much. Devotees used to go to forest, high hills, or mountains on pilgrimage, but such severe austerities are not possible in these days. One should instead eat only prasad and no more than required. According to the Vaishnava calendar, there are many fasts such as Ekadashi and the appearance and disappearance days of God and his devotees. All of these are meant to decrease the fat within the body so that one will not sleep more than desired and will not become inactive and lazy. Overindulgence in food will cause a man to sleep more than required. This human form of life is meant for austerity, and austerity means controlling sex, food intake, etc. In this way, time can be saved for spiritual activity, and one can purify himself both externally and internally. Thus, both body and mind can be cleansed. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Welcome to our morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. We have been discussing the story of Puranjan, which is none other than our story only. Puranjan, who got attached to the queen and got married to her, and at the end of his life he remembered his wife, the queen. Thereby, in the next life, he became a woman. Because whatever one thinks at the time of death, that state he will attain. Somebody attached to his dog, next lifetime he'll become dog. So one should not have dogs, one should be attached to Krishna. So in the next lifetime he was married to Malaydhwaj, a very great king, who performed his activities as the king very nicely, and then he went to Vanaprastha, and we are discussing herein his practices of Vanaprastha. Around 31 to 46, these 16 verses are talking about his Vanaprastha life, how both Malaydhwaj and Vaidarbhi they retired to forest and what kind of lifestyle they have been leading. So here he is saying in the province of Kulachal there were rivers named Chandravasa, Tamraparni and Vatodaka. King Malaydhwaj used to go to those pious rivers regularly and take his bath there. Thus he purified himself externally and internally. He took his bath and ate bulbs, seeds, leaves, flowers, roots, fruits and grasses and drank water. In this way he underwent severe austerities. Eventually he became very skinny. So the goal of life is not to become skinny, but the goal of life is to become very Krishna conscious. And for that goal, being skinny is very helpful. And on the contrary, being very fat is not helpful. Because one will not be very active in his Krishna conscious lifestyle if he's too fat. And also the fatness that he developed, it is also sign of his downfall in spiritual life. Because if it is some other severe disease, that is different, but if it is because of his non-regulated lifestyle, especially eating habits, then it is very much condemned in the scriptures, as Prabhupada quotes his own spiritual master Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who would not tolerate that his disciples becoming fat. Particularly in the ashram, the brahmacharis and sannyasis are likely to become very fat. And we see that also it happens. Our vertical growth stops at the age of 18, 19, so, but the horizontal growth doesn't see the age. So horizontal growth may continue, which is not a good sign. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita recommends that one not eat too much or too little, not sleep too much or too little. In the 16th verse of 6th chapter, Dhyan Yoga, he says, Nati ashnatastu yogosti, na chaikantam anashnatah, na chati swapnashilasya, jagrato naiva charjuna. There is no possibility of one's becoming a yogi, O Arjun, if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or does not sleep enough. So, too much is not good. Too much of sleeping is because of the mode of ignorance. Too less of sleeping is because of the mode of passion. Passionate people in the city, metropolitan cities, Bombay, Pune, Hyderabad, Chennai, Delhi, we can see how passionately they are working, and they don't sleep so much. The person will reach home something like 11, 12 o'clock, and then morning he will get up very early in the morning. Prabhupada in 551, he talks how tapo divyam putraka yana sattvam, how one should perform austerities for putraka yana sattvam shuddham, for purified existence. But on the contrary, people are performing austerities for going to their work. And he talks about Bombay Pune trains, how people early morning in Pune, they get up very early. There is a train at 6:10, Sihagad Express, so they will catch that. If not, 7:15 train, Pragati Express or Deccan Queen Express, and they will go to Bombay 9:30, 10 o'clock, and there they will have another transportation, some bus or auto, to their office place, or many times local train within Bombay suburbs, and then after that auto also. Then he will work very hard for 10 hours. Then night again he will catch another train. There are trains accordingly also, according to their office hours. 4:20 there is Pragati Express, then 5:30 around Indrayani Express, then 6:10 Deccan Express, and then they'll come back to Pune back at around 10 o'clock or whatever. Then they'll again have another transportation from station to their house, and then they will eat food and they will sleep. And thus that way the working our days go, Monday to Saturday. Sunday the person will be visible. So then child in the house asks mother, mother, who is he? He's your father, Papa. Oh, Sunday Papa. Sunday father is visible only on Sunday. Other days he is not visible only. So this kind of working hard like donkeys is not what is human life meant for. Human life is meant for self-realization. So one should not eat too much or too less. Passionate people, they also they eat less. Ignorant people, they keep eating only. They have nothing else to do, so they will keep eating and sleeping mainly. And passionate people sleep very less. Next loka also Krishna is telling in 17th verse, Yukta ahara viharasya, Yukta cheshtasya karmasu, Yukta swapnavabodhasya, Yogo bhavati dukkha. He who is regulated in habits of eating, Yukta ahar, sleeping, ahar is sleeping included, that is coming in Yukta swapnavabodhasya, swapna and avabodh, sleep and wakefulness. In eating, he should be regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation and work. He can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. People are suffering mainly because of disorders in these four aspects of life only. They eat too much or eat too less, then that is how they are overeating, they are fat, or there is malnutrition, or they will be sleeping too much or sleeping too less, or accordingly recreation also, they will hardly walk in life in the day. So nowadays they have these smartphones, smart watches, and how many steps do you walked? 10,000 steps you are supposed to walk, some 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers. So that is very good. But sedentary lifestyle, just sitting, working on computer or somewhere on the desk. This is the British who introduced this system, so that Indians will get to uh, habituated to this factory lifestyle, working in one place only. That was not their lifestyle, Indians lifestyle before. They would be working in fields and they were quite active, going around. But then factories came and people are um, just restricted to one place only. So then people are so miserable because of these four things. Mainly here the focus is on eating, so we'll discuss a little bit that. In the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 28th chapter, Kapil Dev's teachings, third verse, Prabhupada in the second paragraph says, commenting on the word Mita Midhyantanam, that means how a yogi eats moderately, not too much, too less. So Prabhupada in the purport is giving the uh, translation of the shloka quoted by Srila Vishwanath Chakti Thakur in the same verse 328.3. So he says that Dvau bhage purayad annam चतुर्थम दो भागे स्फुरयद अन्नम तोयनार्थम प्रपूदयेत मुहूर्तस्य प्रचारार्थम चतुर्थम अवशेषयेत. So this is a Smriti mantra Vishwanath Chakra Thakur quotes in this verse related to the discussion. So he said, "Do bhages purayad annas." 1/4, 2/4, that means half of the stomach should be filled with solid food. Two parts. Then one part for water. Toyanadaikam prapurayed. 1/4, that is 25% of the stomach should be filled with water, and 25% for the air circulation. Marutasya pracharartham. Prachar means not staying in one place, going to several places. So prachar means moving around. So marutasya, for the wind to blow, the air to blow in the stomach. Chaturtham avasheshe. The fourth part should be kept. 1/4. So 50% of the stomach should be filled with food, solid food, 25% with water, and 25% with air. This is the recommendation. So one should not overeat. One should not feel his stomach full. That is not good. They say that half the food that we eat, that maintains us, and remaining half maintains the doctor. Because we eat so much, so doctor flourishes because you get diseases and the doctor will then earn his money through your half the extra food eaten daily basis. In the western countries, there is, even in India, that is coming, the trend of being very slim. The ladies in particular, they will want to not have children also, because after that there may be some fatness and all that. So they want to avoid it. They will take pills to remain slim and become slim and all, so many things. So that's not the goal of life at all, the bodily platform. The goal is, as we said in the beginning only, to be very Krishna conscious, and that slenderness or slimness will be very helpful in being very active in Krishna consciousness. And on the contrary, being fat is not so good. One will not be being very active. In the second verse of Shri Upadeshamrut of Srila Rupa Goswami, he also recommends Atyahara prayasasya prajalpo niyamagraha janasangasya laulyam cha shadbhir bhaktir vinashyati. The six things which are detrimental to spiritual advancement. The first one is Atyahara. So this is Atyahar here refers to all the senses. Because the first verse, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Bhaktyalok, which is commentary on the first 4 verses, he says that already Rupa Goswami has spoken about tongue in the first verse. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jivha vegam udara upastha vegam etan vegan yo vishaheta dhirah sarvam apimam prithvim sasheshyad. One can make disciples all over the world if he has controlled his 6 urges. First is Vacho vegam, the urge to speak. Srila Bhakti Rasamrut Maharaj was telling that this is more difficult to control than even tongue. That means eating foodstuffs, because throughout day we can speak, whereas food we will not be able to eat beyond particular limit, because the stomach will pain and one just can't put food inside beyond particular level. So Vacho vegam is very difficult to control. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam, the urges of the mind and the anger. Jivha vegam, the urge to eat palatable dishes. Tongue goes by quality of the food and stomach goes by quantity of the food, and both ways we get cheated. Jivha vegam udara upastha vegam, the urges of the belly and genitals, they all should be controlled. So there in the first verse he has already talked about tongue control, so he will not repeat. That's what in Bhaktyalok Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. So now when he says Atyahar, here it says ahar, food for all the senses. For eyes, beautiful mundane forms. For ears, melodious music. For nose, fragrances, different fragrances. For tongue, delicious foodstuffs. And for skin, accordingly related objects, like in winter maybe hot substances, hot water, and in summer cold water, etc. So this Atyahar or Jivha vegam is very dangerous. That blocks one's advancement in spiritual life, which one has to be very careful of. Especially when one has material desires, too many material desires, he may end up eating a lot. That's why one's desires should be all directed to Krishna, their lordships, Shri Radha Madan Mohan. One should take up many services for the service of their lordships. One should be involving himself in missionary activities, and then one can refrain from eating too much. In fact, in preaching work, automatically we see, just like we travel, devotees go out for book distribution. So that time they carry prasadam wherever they are. Yesterday only I received one call from Antardeep Prabhu talking about how young brahmacharis in Pune should be going. So he was asking my permission. Can they go? I said, okay, they can go. How, what about their prasadam? So they will carry prasadam. So carry prasadam means now in case it falls short, then we can't do take much. Then there are no other option. Max you can purchase some fruits, offer to Krishna. Time is not there because you are in missionary work. So when we are out, then it's not, it's very easy to practice Krishna consciousness. But when we are staying within temple or in our houses, then we may eat a lot, because so many foodstuffs are available. That's why going out is very good. In Prabhupada's time, till 1977 or even later, many devotees after morning program is over, taking prasadam, whole day they would be out on the street performing sankirtan, and they would come back only in the evening. So there's no question of sleeping on the street. How will you sleep? And there is no place to sleep, and actively they have to have Harinam Sankirtan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So much, so many hours of Sankirtan. Amazing. His Grace Mohandra Prabhu was telling, last year I was there in the 2022, 2023 in Mumbai, Delhi temple. So he was asked by His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, because he is the president there, that Mohandra Prabhu, do the brahmacharis go out for Harinam Sankirtan? So, yes, yes, Maharaj, very much. We are very regularly going out. Really? So how much? How much regularity? So every week the brahmacharis go out for 2 hours, Maharaj. Maharaj said, what? 2 hours? ये तो आलसी लोगों का हरि नाम है. This is lazy people's हरि नाम. Because once in a week going only for 2 hours. In Prabhupada times, Prabhupada disciples would go out every day for 6 to 8 hours. And here you are saying brahmacharis go out only for 2 hours in a week. ये तो आलसी लोगों का हरि नाम है. That conversation was in Hindi. These lazy people's हरि नाम संकीर्तन. So we have to increase our missionary activities. Otherwise, staying in monasteries, staying in temple, staying in our own houses, we will end up eating a lot. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he saw the sannyasis are becoming very fat, so then he sent a notice to all the Gaudiya mutts where the brahmacharis and sannyasis are staying, that senior most devotees, mainly the sannyasis, they will serve prasadam to all the devotees in the temple, in the mutt, in the ashram. That means the brahmacharis as well as some congregation members that might come daily. And at the end, they will take prasad. At the end. So that is recommended also, because prasadam has its very nice effect based on who has cooked it, who has offered it to Krishna, and who is serving. So that's why senior most devotees are supposed to serve prasadam. They will serve with such very pure, refined consciousness. They are very much convinced of that fourth verse of Guru Ashtakam of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Chaturvidha Shri Bhagavat Prasada Swadvanna Triptan Hari Bhakta Sanghan Kritvaiva Triptim Bhajata Sadaiva Vande Guruho Shri Charanaravindam. Spiritual master is very much happy to see devotees taking honoring prasadam, because he knows after wandering through millions of universes, 8.4 million species of life, this soul is now getting Krishna's mercy, which is very palatable, very relishable. So he is very happy. So like that, with that consciousness, senior devotees will serve. So the effect on the devotees who are honoring prasadam will be very nice. Otherwise, some junior devotee serving, he may be wondering whether prasad will remain or not for me. My God, he has a lot of insecurity. So the insecurity will get into prasad, and all those who take prasadam, they will also be insecure. Maybe in life Krishna will provide me or not. So that's why the consciousness of the server also matters. So who cooks, who offers to Krishna, and who serves, all three. So that was anyway reason, but more importantly, because the sannyasis were getting fat, so he was very concerned, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he sent that circular, and they had to serve. At the end, only sannyasis would be able to take. If one eats too much and sleeps too much, then the horizontal growth starts. So that's why not too much of sleeping. being in the ashram, this can happen to those brahmacharis who are not engaged. So that's why one should be very much alert to make sure that he is not wasting his time on eating and sleeping. Prabhupada, in here only somewhere, I think he says that if one overeats, then his sleep will be disturbed. He will be dreaming a lot in his sleep. So dreaming a lot, he doesn't get proper rest. There are four types of states of consciousness: Jagruti, Shushupti, Swapna, and Turiya or Samadhi. So Jagruti means like this, wakefulness. We are all awake. Shushupti means deep sleep in the night. Some part of the night sleep, we go into very deep sleep. We are not aware of anything. Then there is Swapna also. We are dreaming. They say that everybody dreams every day. Only degree of dreaming reduces, more or less, whatever. Depending on how many material desires one has, accordingly he may dream a lot. In Marathi there is a saying, Mani vase te swapni dise. Whatever is there in your mind, the desires, material desires, you will try to give shape in the daytime, and whatever remains in the night you will give shape in swapna, in that dreaming state. So when the dreaming is going on, the sleep is not very deep. So one is disturbed. The mental disturbance of unfulfilled material desire is trying to satisfy, and in the process his gross sleep is getting affected. And thereby then he will sleep in the daytime also, because night sleep was not proper, because of that swapna, too much of swapna, too much of dreaming. So the daytime he'll sleep. So thus overeating is very dangerous. So one has to eat appropriately, moderately. One should not eat late in the night. At least 2.5 to 3 hours before sleeping, one should have taken prasadam. That means if one is going to sleep at 10 o'clock, by 7, 7:30 he should have completed his night meal. Afterwards, if he desires, he may take hot milk, but no solid food. So that kind of his lifestyle is very conducive for spiritual advancement. And also fasting, Prabhupada recommends. Acharyas have recommended that one should fast on the appearance days of the Lord, and then appearance and disappearance days of the devotees, Acharyas. So till 12 o'clock. Two ways one should celebrate a festival. One is by fasting, and second by having all time Sankirtan, Krishna Katha, Krishna Kirtan. So that is what is recommendation. In Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, Nirashir nirmamo bhutva yuddhasva vigatajvara. That one should be not having any material desires. Nirashi, no material desires. Nirmama, nothing is mine. Nothing is mine. Everything belongs to Krishna. Krishnarthe akila chesta and Krishna prityarthe. All endeavors for Krishna, everything belongs to Krishna, and everything for the satisfaction of Krishna. That's a devotee. That's a very sincere devotee. Nirashir nirmamo bhutva yuddhasva, fight, vigata jvaraha, by giving up lethargy. One becomes lethargic. And for us the fight is during chanting hours. So in the chanting all lethargy comes, because of overeating in the night, and not having proper sleep in the night, and then so many other difficulties. Then in the chanting, very dull performances. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram 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 Ram. Physically very tired, body is paining, head is paining, back is paining, and so many things. Lot of lethargy, and woken up also by some other friend. Then one is like, no, it's not possible like that. But one has to endeavor, one has to get up like that. One has to, like one part of time in my life when I used to preach in NIT Warangal, I used to catch always the Konark Express, which was 8:45 from Warangal station, and we reach Pune at 11:45 in the night. And I was very attached to attending morning program on Tuesday morning, every Monday, coming from Warangal. So then 11:45 reaching station, and then going to temple to save money, going walking only in the dead of the night, alone, kind of 15 minutes walk to temple, and then putting some of the things at least in the locker. Other things can be kept in the bag. So by the time sleeping would be 12:30, and then getting up at 4 o'clock. And then some morning program is attended, but then during chanting it would be so sleepy. And Tuesday morning was for all the leaders of ISKCON Pune temple to sit with Radhesham Prabhu in the circle for chanting. So I would sit exactly on his left side, and he would see me find me sleeping. So he would wake me up after every round. So then I would, after few rounds, so many times woken up, then I would stand up and go behind Prabhupada outside the temple hall, and I would walk and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So one has to ensure that one has a very regulated lifestyle, preferably. And in preaching, one may need to sacrifice, but therein also one should make sure that one chants properly, and for that whatever is required, particularly here eating and sleeping habits are very much in focus. So he's saying that externally he performed austerities. He took bath twice, thrice a day. One should take bath. And internal austerities to meditate on Krishna, to have remembrance of Krishna. One should always remember Krishna. In this Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur's book, he writes, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Bhakti Yoga, Dhan, Bhakti Yai Krishna Nama Smarana Krandan. So what is Bhakti Yoga? Bhakti Yoga is Dhan, he is saying. This is topmost wealth. And what is it? Krishna Nam. Bhakti Yai Krishna Nam. Chanting the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So one chanting, but then ahead, next stage, higher stage is Krishna Bhakti Ai Krishna Nama Smaran, Krishna Smaran. Many times we chant Hare Krishna, but we are not remembering Krishna, because offenses separate the Nam and Nami. One who chants without offenses, for him Nam and Nami are non-different. Abhinnatvam Nama Namino. So he has that realization. So he has naturally Smaran of Krishna. And the last highest stage is Krishna Krandan, crying for Krishna. Just like a child will cry for mother. Mother Hara, Radharani will connect him to Supreme Father Hari, Krishna. So one should at least make sure that one is having remembrance of Krishna. But then by eating too much, which is sign of too many material desires, one's mind gets contaminated. Malina Haileman, Nahi Krishna Smaran. One just can't remember Krishna while chanting. Though we are chanting the names of Radha and Krishna, we just can't remember Radha and Krishna if we are overeating, thereby overpowered by illusory potency of the Lord. So here Malay Dhwaj, he was very sincerely practicing. So spiritual life demands West hours, West time. How to make advancement in spiritual life? The West hours should be reduced. So much time goes in overeating, so much time goes in oversleeping. That time should be saved. Then one can have so much effectively, so much of time in the daytime. So many things can be done. As they say, if you want some task to be done, ask a busy person. He will say, okay, I have 50 things today. I will do this 50 first also. This 51, one more can be added. And lazy fellow, he'll say, no, there's so many things are there. And he will do nothing in the day in one sense. So one should be busy. One should not be lazy in ignorance. One should not be crazy in passion. One should be busy in goodness. So that striking balance is very important. So what to do to control the tongue? What is required for advancement is controlling tongue in both of its aspects, speaking as well as eating. So speaking should be reduced. They have nowadays advertising for the mobile thing, unlimited talk time. That means what? Already you like to talk, but because of money factor, you might make less calls. But now unlimited talk time. So people will keep talking, polluting Krishna's ether and wasting their own life and others' lives. So that should not be done. Only what is required. I have heard that Prabhupada in his dealing for something, some material things, he would not even speak. Like some disciple coming, Prabhupada doesn't want fan. Prabhupada would show like this. Switch off the fan. He will not tell now, switch off the fan. Switch off the fan. 4 words. Why to waste time and energy? So he would show the disciple, switch it off like that. During prasadam, he never talked to anyone. For all those years, the record is never talked to anyone. We are so busy running worldwide youth centers or whatever. So that we so much talking during prasadam. It is not recommended. One should peacefully honor the grace of the Lord coming as prasadam. Lord's mercy is coming. So one should honor. Prabhupada would relish. Every bite he would relish. That's how it would take some 40-45 minutes also. Moderate quantity, but relishing slowly. Whereas we take so much and eat also fast. So that is not recommended. So speaking should be controlled and eating should also be controlled. Many times we could read Prabhupada books. By reading Prabhupada books, our illusory influence of illusory potency will reduce in one's life. And then one will not feel like eating so much. one will be just satisfied with what is the bare minimum. We find in the life of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he slept only for 3 hours or so, 7 p.m., 7 in the evening, and he would get up at 10 o'clock in the morning. So 10 to around 4 or so, he would write books. That's how in his one life as a district magistrate, having 2 wives and around 13 children, he wrote 100 plus books and so many poems also. Sharanagati is that group of those poems, and more than 100 books. Many times people may not be able to read 100 books in their life because of wasting time. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote them. How much time goes in writing one book? And in those years, there's no computer. Like you press one button and A comes automatically. Writing A takes time. Whereas pressing one button and on the screen A appearing, that takes very less time. You can have, but writing takes time. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur would write those books and then they would be printed. Prabhupada would dictate, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur would write them down. So much time, but he could accomplish it because of less sleep. Prasad also very fixed at time. The times were also fixed, quantity was fixed, and nothing more than that. And so much time, literally 21 hours for the service of the Lord. He would daytime take some rest 15 minutes also. 4 o'clock he would take some rest till 4:30 also. But then overall it was hardly 4 hours. Prabhupada also almost 4 hours. 10 o'clock around he would sleep. 1 o'clock he would get up. So 3 hours. And daytime 1 hour. So lot of time saved and so much of enormous service was done. So we may not be able to sleep so less, but Prabhupada says at least 6 hours of sleep is recommended, not more than 6 hours and not less. Unless somebody is doing physical services like book distribution. So then Prabhupada allowed them to sleep for 6.5 to 7 hours. Sleeping, similarly, eating also little more is allowed for book distributors because they exhaust a lot of their energy, a lot of calories are exhausted. Only for them. That means very actively out there on the street distributing books, etc. Otherwise, sedentary lifestyle within the monastery, within the ashram, temple, etc. is not recommended to eat so much. So we find in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a nice description by Avanti Brahman. He had 24 gurus. And of them, we'll discuss 9th and 12th. 9th guru is Python. So he says in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, Sukham Aindriyakam Rajan Swarge Naraka Evacha Dehinam Yad Yatha Dukkham Tasman Necheta Tadbhudaha. The saintly Brahman, that is Avanti Brahman, said, O king, the embodied living entity automatically experiences unhappiness in heaven or hell. Similarly, happiness will also be experienced even without once seeking it. Therefore, a person of intelligent discrimination does not make any endeavor to obtain such material happiness. Following the example of the python, one should give up material endeavors and accept for one's maintenance food that comes of its own accord. Whether such food be delicious or tasteless, ample or meager, quantity is much or less, or quality is very opulent or it is not so opulent. In whatever comes of its own accord. In Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, Yadrucha labha santushto dvandvatito vimatsaraha. Yadrucha labha santushto. Whatever comes of its own accord. That's what Python does. He just opens his mouth and whatever comes in the mouth he accepts. He doesn't go move out here and there. Just whatever comes. So that is what is required, especially for those who are in the renounced order of life. Ahead he says, if at any time food does not come, then a saintly person should fast for many days without making endeavor. Haribo. Like that. We may feast for many days with lot of endeavor. So better not that. He's saying fast for many days without making endeavor. He should understand that by God's arrangement, he must fast. Thus, following the example of the python, he should remain peaceful and patient. Next he says, a saintly person should remain peaceful and materially inactive, maintaining his body without much endeavor. Even though possessed of full sensual, mental and physical strength, a saintly person should not become active for material gain, but rather should always remain alert to his actual self-interest. So all the 4 verses, comparing the lifestyle of Python, who was one of the gurus of this Avanti Brahman, we can learn this principle of just whatever comes of its own accord, following in the footsteps of that python. So next guru of the Avanti Brahman is the honeybee. That's the 12th guru, which he discusses from the 9th verse onward. He says, Stokam stokam grased grasam deho varteta yavata gruhan ahimsan atishted vrittim madhukarim munihi. So Prabhupada in one of the purports says that there are two types of bees. One is bumblebee and other is honeybee. So bumblebee goes to a particular flower and takes the honey, and that's it, like that. Whereas the honeybee collects the honey and then stores it in the honeycomb. And too much of honeycomb is stored, then and it may drink a lot and becomes problem. Or else some farmer or somebody will come, set it on fire, and the honeybees are again without house. They are in trouble. So that storing is not good. So he's saying he should accept only food that his body, to keep his body and soul together. Prabhupada says to keep body and soul together. Soul should not jump out of the body. That's the point. Otherwise, if one eats too less or doesn't eat, the soul will go out of the body. So body and soul should be together. That's the point. He should go from door to door accepting just a little bit of food from each family. Thus, he should practice the occupation of the honeybee. So one should not find out, okay, this particular grahastha gives nice opulent food, so he is very good, so I will daily go to his house only. That is not recommended. In the purport, proper disciples clarify that point. If a mendicant takes unfair advantage of the Vedic custom of charity and takes too often from a single family, the resentment he causes will disturb the social order. An ideal sage should, like a honeybee, travel from place to place, but he must be careful not to become a chubby bee by going to many houses and eating sumptuously at each house. He should not become chubby bee. Very nice word they have used. So, according to Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur, such a chubby bee will undoubtedly become entangled in the network of Maya. No one should be overly attached to the gratification of his tongue, because this will lead to an overstuffed belly and then uncontrollable lust. In conclusion, one should not endeavor very much for material sense gratification, but should instead endeavor strenuously to spread the glories of the Supreme Lord Krishna. This is the proper use of human energy. Next sloka, he says, just as the honeybee takes nectar from all flowers, big and small, an intelligent human being should take the essence from all religious scriptures. Shastra Sar should be taken. He compares it with he says that the honeybee does not take the branches and all the flower to the residence foolishly. It knows the essence of the flower is the honey, just take the honey only. Why to unnecessarily take that trouble? Next he says, a saintly person should not think, this food I will keep to eat tonight and this other food I can save for tomorrow. In other words, a saintly person should not store foodstuffs acquired by begging. Rather, he should use his own hands as his plate and eat whatever fits on them. His only storage container should be his belly. And whatever conveniently fits into his belly should be his stock of food. Thus, one should not imitate the greedy honeybee who eagerly collects more and more honey. So amazing. So it's very good. So he's saying these details. So Prabhupada, his disciples' purports are also very nice. He says, a saintly person who is unable to work in Lord Chaitanya's mission should practice austerities and collect only what he can hold in his hands and belly. However, one who has given his life to Krishna may collect unlimitedly on Lord Krishna's behalf. In fact, without acquiring material opulence, how is it possible to spread the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world? For Krishna's sake, just like for preaching, now we need Vasasan, we need this, we need sound system. So one can collect opulences, but for Krishna's service. Prasadam also, we go beg grains and we cook and serve. After offering to Krishna, we serve all humanity. Not that one eats himself only. The next he says, but if one tries to personally enjoy the funds or facilities acquired for the missionary activities of the Krishna consciousness movement, he commits the greatest offense. Therefore, even in the name of Lord Krishna, one should collect only what he can immediately engage in practical devotional service. Otherwise, one will fall down to the platform of ordinary greediness. That should be avoided. A saintly mendicant, next sloka says, should not even collect foodstuffs to eat later in the same day or the next day. If he disregards this injunction and, like the honeybee, collects more and more delicious foodstuffs, that which he has collected will indeed ruin him. So that Brahmara is that this thing is that honeybee who wanders from flower to flower, and Makshika is the honeybee who accumulates more and more honey in the beehive with great attachment. A saintly mendicant should be like the Brahmara bee, that is Brahmar, because if he imitates the Makshika bee, his spiritual consciousness will be ruined. This point is so important that it is repeated in this verse. You can see previous verse also said the same thing. So one should not even store food for evening. That is not good. That is in one sense grahastha mentality. One should think, no, that Krishna will maintain, Krishna will provide. Whatever comes, that is what for me. And nothing comes, fast. For several days one should fast. That is recommendation. But Radha Madan Mohan are very merciful. They will send something. No need to be too much feeling insecurity. Similarly, our Raghunath Das Goswami, he was very famous for his regulations. So Mahaprabhu and Govinda's discussion, he says, Suni tushta haya prabhu kahite lagila, bhala kaila vairagira dharma acharila. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, he was greatly satisfied that Raghunath is, performing his austerities more and more. Raghunath Das has done well, he said. He has acted suitably for a person in the renounced order. Vairagi karibe sada nama sankirtan, magiya khaiya kare jivana rakshan. A person in the renounced order should always chant the holy name of the Lord. He should beg some alms to eat, and he should sustain his life in this way. Just some alms, not more than what is just required for maintenance. Vairagi haya eba kare parapeksha, karya siddhi nahe Krishna kare na upeksha. A vairagi should not depend on others. If he does so, he will be unsuccessful and he will be neglected by Krishna. How dangerous! He will be unsuccessful in personal life and neglected by Krishna. Krishna karena upeksha. So he should not depend on others. Parapeksha. Dependence on others is not required. Vairagi haya kare jivhar lalas, paramartha jai ara haya rasera vash. If a renunciate is eager for his tongue to test different foods, his spiritual life will be lost and he will be subservient to the tests of his tongue. Vairagīra krutya sada nama sankirtan, shakapatra phalamule udara bharan. The duty of a person in the renounced order is to chant the Hare Krishna mantra always. He should satisfy his belly with whatever vegetables, leaves, fruits and roots are available. Then next, the most famous verse. Jivara lalaseyai iti utidhai, shishnodara parayana Krishna nahi pai. One who is subservient to the tongue and who thus goes here and there, devoted to the genitals and the belly, cannot attain Krishna. So very clear instructions Mahaprabhu has given through Raghunath Das Goswami, his austerities for all of us. So it's very important that we control our eating habits, because that's how it is then decided how much progress one will be able to make. Otherwise life will go in eating only, and thereby too much sleeping, and then progress is checked. Okay, any question? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
It was nice class, Prabhuji. Mostly it was related to me only because I'm too much fond of eating. So
it's the story of everyone in one sense.
So Prabhuji,
what to do? Prasadam is so tasty.
Yes, exactly. But Radhesham Prabhu always emphasized that it should be sanctioned, sanctified, and regulated way. We have to accept it.
Yes.
So Prabhuji, I just have a question regarding this Ekadashi we fast, right? So knowingly, unknowingly, we commit so many offenses, sins, by when we walk, the ants will be killed. When we step on that, and so many unknowingly sins will be committed. So we do fasting for this Ekadashis, right, Prabhuji? So will that counteract all our sins?
Just by chanting once Hari, all your millions of lifetimes of offenses are removed. You don't have to worry about sins. You just surrender to Krishna fully. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami ma shucha. So for us, Krishna takes the charge of his devotees. All our sinful reactions, Krishna takes with him. And to the degree we offend Vaishnavas, to that degree he will give. So it's Krishna's interference, Krishna's mercy in one sense, for the devotee to bring him to the sanity. Otherwise, sinful reactions is no consequence. In a sense, for a devotee, that's not a problem. All sinful reactions are removed just by one chanting of the holy name.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Any other? Any other question? Okay, just little bit. He says, Ananta guna raghunathera kikori be lekha राघनाथ रघात राधनाथेर नियमयेन पाषाणेर रेखा. Who could list the unlimited transcendental attributes of Raghunath Das? His strict regulative principles were exactly like lines on a stone. साढ़े सात प्रहर जाय कीर्तन स्मरणे आहार निद्रा चारि दंड सेहन हे कोन दीने. साढ़े सात प्रहर, one prahar of 3 hours, 7 prahars of 21 hours. साढ़े सात प्रहर means 22.5 hours. Jai Kirtana Smarane, in remembrance of Krishna and chanting the holy name. Ahara Nidra Chari Danda. So remaining 1.5 hour for eating and sleeping. Seha Nahe Kon Dine. And some days not even that. That 1.5 hour not even for eating and sleeping on some days. वैराग्यर कथा तार अद्भुत कथन आजन्म ना दिल जिवाय रसे रस स्पर्शन. His life of renunciation is great. Ajanma na dila, for whole life he never gave his tongue, jivai, raseras sparshan, palatable dishes. Whole life did not. We know his story, his life, how he led in Jagannath Puri, reducing his intake of prasadam, and it was one point of time only eating what the rotten foodstuff was thrown by the shopkeepers. The cows of Telanga, they would eat it, they would find it so rotten, they would spit it out. They would eat what is eatable, and whatever rotten, not good, they would spit it out. That's what Raghunath Das would collect, wash it with water, and add little salt and would take. And Mahaprabhu tested that, saying that this is so nice, so tasty, so palatable. He was testing the renunciation of Raghunath Das Goswami. Eventually, when he was staying at Radhakund, once in 3 days only, one drone full of charge, buttermilk. That's it. Once taken on Monday, directly on Thursday. We eat thrice a day. He would drink once in 3 days. Not eating, no foodstuffs. When Janva Mataji came to meet him, she came to Vrindavan, she asked other Goswami, where is Raghunath Das? They said he is at Radhakund. So tell him I have come, I want to meet him. Oh no, Mataji, he is too weak to come here. He just can't walk so far. So she said, oh really, then I will go to meet him. So she went there to Radhakund area, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was neighbor of Raghunath Das Goswami. He told Raghunath Das ji, Goswami ji, Mataji has come. He said, oh really? So he got up somehow and he was walking, not able to walk. He was so weak. And he paid obeisances and he's not able to get up also. I heard that he would pay obeisances to devotee and he would not be able to get up. The devotee would get him up. He would wake him up. He would pull him up, saying that, Prabhu, please don't pay obeisances. You're so weak. Once in 3 days drinking buttermilk, one drone full only. So our acharyas have been great. We cannot imitate them. It is said anybody who imitates the austerities of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, he will die. He will literally die. With the thought of drinking buttermilk once in 3 days only, the soul will jump out of the body. Yes.
But the devotees, those who have spent 2-3 years in Krishna consciousness, now at least they have come to the standard they take only prasadam. But they take too much prasadam. And because that is the only sense gratification available. And in the search of prasadam, they go to Govindas, or one more shop has opened, Balram Bandi, like that. There is one more shop just beside one, I don't know, devotee or non-devotee, I don't know that. But our voice devotees go there.
We have to see who has cooked prasadam, what is their consciousness, are they chanting 16 rounds, what is the quality of their chanting, and who has offered it to Krishna.
How to control it, that tendency, going
by
there,
being in the missionary activities. Go out after taking only personal prasadam, what is cooked in the temple. The temple brahmacharis have no option. Whatever prasadam temple gives, that's it. They cannot think of Govinda and other things. Govinda, if at all, then for follow, distributing to others. That is not for us. It is for Govinda and Govinda Bhaktas, not for us. We should not take. And throughout day we should be very active. We should not go to the room where our bedding is there. Aa bail mujhe maar. So that will be just with open arms will be welcoming. Come, my dear brahmachari, come. Let us embrace each other. So one should not go to that room. One should be out, or out of that room at least. Eating is not good, so much eating. Just one should have some fixed regulation, and in that also quantity and all over the years, everything should be very fixed. How many chapatis you take, how much of rice or dal, it should get fixed more or less. Because lifestyle is more or less same for quite some period of time.
And sometimes devotees find happiness in eating, Prabhuji, because happiness is restricted from other places. So they find happiness in
To the
eating.
degree one has material desires, he will end up eating a lot and talking a lot. These two effects will be there, both related to tongue only. So one should take care. Should have spiritual desires. One who is in touch with superiors who are very actively engaged in missionary activities, then one will not be getting carried away by all that eating and sleeping business. When I joined as a brahmachari, first 15 days I could not sleep for more than 5 and 5.5 hours. So much service was there, no question. Morning getting up 4 o'clock, immediately running not to bathroom, but to the tape recording the area to put the cassettes for recording. Because some 2,000 cassettes were to be recorded in a span of 1 month, less than 1 month. So like that, one should be very busy, tight schedule. There should not be no what you call time left for Maya. One has to lead a very busy life. Otherwise, one will be either lazy or crazy. One will be lazy in ashram sleeping, or will be crazy after Govinda Mahaprasad or whatever the next shop. One should be busy with Krishna conscious activities. And if one is not able to do that, one should take association. Jaisa sang, vaisa rang. If we are associating with great souls, they will not allow any sense gratification in our life. Yes.
Some foods may be healthy for body, but they may not be spiritually favorable. What should be our priority? Like, should take care of health or spiritual
What
things?
kind of item? Acha. I don't know, the doctors can tell. Maybe Ayurvedic doctors we should consult. Some devotee Ayurvedic doctor is there. We could consult him and see whether some other alternatives are there. Like for maybe protein, maybe something like dal is a better substitute. And likewise, those which are not favorable, we could better avoid them. Isn't it? Otherwise, it may keep our gross body fit, but spiritual life may be affected. Details I don't know about this soya bean. Somebody who knows could comment.
Once offered means prasadam is prasadam. That's all. I feel that.
Once offered, but who has offered? That matters. Who has cooked? Who has offered?
Authorized offering means once authorized
No, you cannot say authorized offering. What is authorized offering?
devotee.
Devotee, quote unquote. You have to find out what kind of a devotee. Like Raghunath Das Goswami. So like that is very great. So that's why one has to make sure leaders have to be alert enough to see that everything is of very high standard. And those who are at the receiving end, they should also be careful to see what is the quality of prasadam and all that. Quality means who has cooked, what is his consciousness, all that. When His Holiness Haldar Swami Maharaj came to our Pune temple, as well as His Holiness Prabodhan Saraswati Maharaj, they were recommending that senior brahmacharis cook because their consciousness will be good. Why should employees cook? Though we train the employees also in devotional activities, they come for Mangal Arati. We ensure that they attend Mangal Arati and all that. They chant also 16 rounds. All these things, factors do matter.
Sometimes there are some certain foods which, for example, brinjal and chane dal, etc. They will increase the allergies in some people. Allergies. Some allergies like sneezing or skin allergy like that. They will increase. But sometimes what I feel is, if in temple they have given that only, brinjal only they have given in temple, then we have to take that. That is prasadam after all. Once it is prasadam, we'll get that means we have to take that. That is because once it is turned prasadam means prasadam only. We need not bother
No,
about
individual
what it
should
is.
see what is good for his health. If it is not good for him, he can avoid that item.
Okay.
Yeah. Not that everything cooked in temple has to be
No,
honored.
not
That
only
is not a
suppose
rule.
suppose if they give only brinjal
So
curry.
don't take only rice dal. Why to
Only.
take sabji on that day if it is not good for your health?
But it is prasadam, no? Puja, how can we?
That's for others. For you, it is prasadam for you. Take one grain of it. So, you have honored it. That's what Haridas Thakur did.
No.
When in his last phase of life, when
Okay.
Govinda came and gave him Mahaprasad of Lord Jagannath, he said, how can I take? Because I have not completed my 3 lakh Harinam. 192 rounds are not over. Only when he would complete 192 rounds, then he would take prasadam. So I have not completed my rounds. So how can I take Mahaprasad? But how can I offend Mahaprasad by not honoring also? So he took just little bit. That is called honoring prasadam.
They are a higher devotees. Puja. We are only struggling.
We are following
We
in
are
their
only struggling.
footsteps.
We are only struggling to become devotee. Puja. At least.
Yeah, so that's a rice dal you can take.
Yes, yes.
You don't have to. Of that brinjal, you take one grain
Yes.
if you really feel. Okay?
Thank you. Hare
Yes.
Krishna. Pranam.
This is a very sensitive issue, prasadam. We have touched upon very, what you call, the pulse of the whole thing.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Sorry, now in just 2-3 days, Mahashivratri is coming, Prabhuji. So many, who were observing this Shivratri before coming into bhakti in this Krishna consciousness. So because if you see, we
Okay, what is the
at
question I understood?
yeah. So we see
Whether we should fast or not.
no, because we have do
Whether we
this,
fast or should we
yeah,
fast, that is the question.
right.
You may fast if you feel so, but Prabhupada does not recommend so much. Once only, it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Nanda Maharaj, went to Saraswati river and he fasted on Shivratri. This is said once. Bhagavatam itself, Shukdev Goswami says. Not that every year Nanda Maharaj was going to perform Mahashivratri. No. So we follow in the footsteps of Vrajavasis. Nanda Maharaj is one of the heroes for those who are in Vatsalya Ras. Tishthan vraje tadanuragi jananugami. We follow in the footsteps of Vrajavasis. And Nanda Maharaj is one of the very great head, pure devotee of the Lord, eternal associate. So we don't need to. Similarly, Prabhupada has told. So we don't have to. But if you feel, no problem.
Because he is a
Very
Vaishnava,
in a
yeah.
very concocted way, we don't fast on any day and every day. Like politicians do Bhukh Hartal or Amaran Uposhan. Till death, we will keep fasting. We don't do that kind of thing. It's a pure devotee, Lord Shiva. If you feel, you may do.
Thank you.
Yes. Any other? Okay, then we'll end. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शिल प्रभुपाद की जय, समवेत गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी।